like to invite you all in the third session of the short-term training program on image processing and its application. I would like to invite Dr. Mahesh Chandra, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Manipal University, for the session. And the session will be on image classification using recurrent neural network. This would be really an informative session for all of us. So we are going to start the session now. Mahesh sir, please.
Okay, so again, a very good afternoon, all of you. I hope you all had a delicious lunch today at your home. So, as we have discussed in previous class, how we can go with an artificial neural network, and I has told you that this is one of old, or you can say foundation of all the new and latest neural networks. So now we are going to discuss our new model. Let me just share my screen. Okay. So if we remember in our previous class, we were discussing about neural network, where we had one slide where I told you that we have different type of neural network architectures, like single feed forward, multi-level feed forward, and we have seen how we can go with multi-level feed forward. And then third category was recurrent network. So this recurrent neural network is belongs to that third category of neural network. So the simple difference between a neural network and a recurrent neural network. First, we look at that point, why we call it a neural network, recurrent neural network, why we not call it a simple neural network. So we have already seen this diagram in our previous lecture, where we have inputs, we have multiple hidden layers, and each hidden layer have multiple neurons. This H signify the neurons, and this all connectivity between them, and then we have output layer. Okay. So I told that there it's a feed forward. So when we have input, so input is feed from this layer to this layer to this layer, and then this layer to that layer, and then you will get your output. There is no information which is moving from here to here. Okay. Sometime and in some cases we need such kind of information. Such kind of information is very required. For example, you can take a very simple example. Let's say you are going to predict temperature of tomorrow, or maybe you are going to predict stock price for next day. Okay. So in that case, the past information is very important. For example, let's say if you're predicting a stock price of any share, okay, we take example of Google, and you are just if I want to ask you whether you can predict tomorrow price of Google share, at that moment you will say, so I do not have any idea about the share and I cannot predict any number. Okay, but if I provide you some data, if I provide you some data of last 10 days or last 20 days, then you can see that particular data, and then according to that information you are have some kind of a prediction, some kind of a data you can give me that this is maybe a share value for the Google. Okay, so sometime the past information is required. So here this particular arrow tells you the same thing. We are considering, okay, so this is a neuron, and we already seen that key neuron take input X, maybe bias, and provide some output. Okay, but now we have a new age here. suppose, or we can say this is output. So there's a new row here. So we are getting some, feedback from our previous output so that we can, compute a better output. Okay. So here, this arrow signify this thing. So your neuron is not take care of the input. It's now take care of the past information. Okay. So let's say the stock prediction. Okay. So in stock prediction, if you want to predict something, then suppose if we have a day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4, and day 5, and day 6. So these are the days. So let's say you want to predict something, you require some past information that helps you to predict next value somewhere here. And let's say you want to predict somewhere here, you again required some past information to predict this new value. In the same way, you want to predict somewhere here, you required some past information. Okay, so in that case, if I'm not considering past information, I cannot, predict the stock price in a better way. Otherwise, we have other way to predict. But in this case, in case of RNN, it's help us to take consider of past information and change the state as per the requirement. I hope it is clear to you. These two diagrams, we have to understand why this arrow we have. So this arrow is only signify our neurons now take care of past information, which help us to predict something. Or one more example you can take. Suppose you have a video. Okay, so if you have a video sequence, then suppose if you have you have a very small video clip and you have to watch it and you have to conclude something, whether it's good or whether it's bad or whether it is something happening over there. So again, that prediction is depend on the sequence of images. Okay, what is happening in first image, what is happening in second image, what happening in third image. Then you will take all the image inputs, and then you can say, yeah, this movie belongs to that particular guy, or this particular movie belongs to that particular subject. Okay, so in such cases, the recurrent neural network works for us. Fine. So let's say we move further. When we talk about RNN, we always compared RNN with CNN. I hope you may idea about CNN because it may be covered in next tomorrow maybe. So here we just compare with CNN. So CNN is basically is actually a feed forward, which I think you remember this thing because mostly people is confused with CNN and RNN. That's why I included this slide here. So the CNN is feed forward neural network. It's not a recurrent network. Recurrent means feedback. There's no feedback. Okay, so this is a neuron. So feedback is there. So in case of CNN, there's no feedback system. It's only go forward direction. Okay. So in that way, your RNN is different. And in that way, the purpose of CNN and the purpose of RNN is totally different. So we use RNN where we need to have some timeline information, okay, or we have a time series data. Okay, so for that we have to use RNN. And in CNN, if we have images and fixed data, there's no timeline at all. So we use CNN. Apart from that, CNN consider only the current input, as I told you, while the RNN consider the current input and also the previous received input. So as I told you, this thing that's written here again. And apart from that, we have an internal memory concept in case of RNN. So we have kind of a memory which store the previous state and previous information, which help us to process it. And one more difference is, so CNN actually have a 4 type of different layers, like convolution layer, like ReLU layer, and pooling, and then fully connected layer. These all layers are not in RNN. RNN is totally different way to process its network. There is no layer. So in case of RNN, we do not have any kind of such layers, like no convolution, no failure kind of layers we do not have there. Now we look at where we can use recurrent neural network and how different models we can have in RNN. So the first model we call it one to many. Okay, so one to many, means we have an image. Image is a single, and we want to get the caption for the image. So in that case, we are providing only a single input image, and we need some many outputs, because each this word is actually output from the network. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 output will be come out from this network. So we call it one to many. Okay. So also you can also take it that we can use neural network to predict or find the caption for image. The another one is many to one. So in that case, what is this? So we have many inputs and we get a single output. Okay. So the sentiment, when we go for finding sentiments, suppose you have some message, or for example, we have many comments today we are getting on products, and also we are getting many comments on our Facebook or any social media pages, Twitter as well. So we can calculate to find the sentiments, whether that particular comments is a positive or negative. Because if you are in social media and something has there is negative approach or some kind of such kind of things, so you can take action about according to that, whether you should post that particular comments on the product or not, or whether somewhere you can make a threshold for it. Okay, so definitely if you are running an e-commerce website and there is a very bad comments coming out there, so you need to delete it, or maybe you can hide it some time. Also you can be at some kind of a level, like 50 sentiments is okay, and after that it's not valid kind of that kind of, or you may process it later. So such kind of requirements may be there. Okay, so in that case, that model will work like many to one. So you have many words, because in the comments we are getting many words, and we just need to out one single figure. Okay, so such type of models come in many to one. Another model in RNN is many to many. Okay, so many to many. The example of many to many is translation. This you want to translate something, okay, from English to Hindi, or Hindi to English, something like that. So where we use this type of models. So the thing is, let's say you are putting in English letters and things may come out in different way, because the number of words in English and number of words in Hindi come out from translation is not similar. Are you getting my point? Okay. So suppose that in your sentence, in English sentence, you have a 3 words, but when you convert it in any language, maybe Hindi or maybe any French or anyone else, so you may get more than that. You may get a 4 different words there. So that's why it's written like this. Okay, so here input and output is not similar, but yeah, you have many and you have many outputs here. Another example of many to many is suppose you have a kind of a exit translation kind of things, or maybe if you have a video kind of thing, where you need to convert a video into a different video sequence. For example, let's say like you had something like animation. So let's say you have a any image or any small video of yours, and there are many apps that will translate that particular video into animation. Okay, so in that case, if you putting a video of 5 seconds, then you will get in same 5 second video but in a different animation. So in that case, my point to consider here is, we have n number of inputs and we are getting n number of outputs. So for each input, we are getting each output. But here the case was little bit different. So translation is not like that. Whatever you are putting here, you will get same thing. As I told you that in English, we are putting only 3 letters, but in Hindi, we may get 4 or more than 5 words. But in case of video, if you have a video sequence and you want to animate it, then in that case, every single image will be get a new image. So this is an example of that. Okay, so it's fine. Uh, Next, very important issue with RNN is vanishing problem. It's a very well-known problem when we talk about RNN, because in RNN, what we are doing actually, we are feeding the things back. Things will move from here. So weight, one weight W R E C reverse we are taking right now. So this weight is going here, and this weight further going here and going here and going here. Okay. So in that case, what happened? The value of this and value of this may become very, very small. Okay. So why it become small? Because suppose I'm just taking example here. Suppose is X computation. So in X computation, let's say X computation, suppose I have a weight or some like data, let's say D, and let's say weight is 0.5 multiplied by something like uh, 0.7 like this. So these things happening multiple places. Okay, so when you multiply such kind of information, which is already in a in a decimals, and then when you multiply it, the things may become smaller. Then again, you are going to take this smaller value, let's say x1, it was let's say x0, x1. Then again, you are going to multiply x1, something like d1, and again you are getting more smaller value like this. So this is happening in feedback. So we call it vanishing. Vanishing means something is going to finish. Okay, and something is going to finish and there is no impact at all. So definitely things are not finished here, but things are going to smaller and smaller. When things are going to smaller and smaller, so the impact of that particular value becomes kind of a zero. Okay, for example, let's say if x is equal to x plus 0.0001, if x is 5, so what do you get after that? You'll get 0.0001 or something like if it is 0 like this. So, it's this nearby 5. So this value is nearby 5. So there's no impact at all. Okay, yeah, if it is 5.1 and 5.2, it's more than that. So that happened here. In case of if we take directly inputs or directly weights towards the feedback. So we are not in RNN we are not going to take values directly to the neurons. We applied many things there, and we have a very complex system for that. I'll tell you in next slides. We just remember if we take directly weight and feed to the neurons, the value or the meaning of the particular weight is going to be very small and going to be vanish. So one more thing which we need to take care of in RNN, if we express something like that, okay, so it not mean that you have single neuron and single feedback. So the expansion of this diagram is like this. So you have multiple outputs and multiple inputs, and these neurons are feeding each other. Okay, so you can say this is actually short form or short diagram of this two-layer diagram, because sometimes it's confused a lot. Okay, so we can make this diagram in this way. And one more representation like this. You have RNN here, and then they're putting inputs. You are getting outputs here. Okay, and in between the RNN neurons work there, and they are feeding from previous to next. Okay. Now we look at more about this particular scenario. We have written here RNN, but here we have a different structure or internal structure of this RNN neuron. So we have seen this thing. Okay. So here I included a mathematical way why actually the vanishing happened. So let me just escape it, no problem at all. Okay, so also is representing you have something here bigger in value, then you are going forward, then values become down, and there is no impact at all here getting the feed. If you're taking a feedback, then there should be a reasonable contribution of that particular value. Then there's impact of the taking feedback. Otherwise, there is no meaning at all. So we have both the problems arrive. If value is going to smaller, then we call it vanishing, and if value is going to larger, then it's called exploding. In both the cases, because if if the weight is if the weight is in decimal, if weight is in decimal, and you are going to multiply multiple times, then value is going to reduce. But if the weight is already in integer, and if you are going to multiply, then it's going to bigger. You're getting my point? It's very simple concept. So if a value is in points, then if you multiply decimal value with the any value, that is going to decrease. And if value is already an integer, if you're going to multiply it, that is going to increase. So both the cases. So when we have a bigger, smaller value, we call it vanishing issue, and we have larger value, we call it exploding. So these are the issues, arrived in the neural network, in this recurrent neural network. So we have many solutions for that. You can also go to study more about it. So to avoid the exploding gradient or exploding problem, we can have a truncate backpropagation, uh, penalizing, gradient clipping, and like this. In vanishing, we have a weight initialization, eco state network, or LSTN. So I hope all you heard about LSTN is very famous. So we will also look at the LSTN, how it works, and what is the internal structure of LSTN. So we have seen this structure of a RNN. Now we are looking at this particular A part. What is inside it? Okay. So apart from that, there may be some more complex diagrams also you can see here. So it was an older version of RNN in 1980, but now it's become very simple because due to the LSTN and many more options we have available with us. So the LSTN is a concept in RNN that was introduced in 1997 by these two persons, and so so if you look at the word long short term memory, so the meaning of is we can store short, short means just previous information, or long means information before 2 days. So that both the facilities is provided by the LSTN. So by the help of LSTN, we can short some small history, or we can store a long history as well. So yeah, so also you can see this example here. So let's say you want to predict something here. This is sky. This is a word. So if you're predicting something here, and you need to predict something here, what will be the appropriate value or word here? So you can compare something here. So this past information helps you to predict whether it should be a sky or not, something like that. So because you are using word cloud here, so you can predict this value in a much more way, in a good way. Apart from that, also you can see what is it? Let's say I grew up in France and I speak frequent France. So this sentences also support this word. So if you are living in India and you are speaking Hindi, so it's more likely. Or maybe if you are living in Kerala and something there, then definitely you can speak the particular language easily. So in that case, it helps us to get a new prediction by the help of past information. I hope you understand. Okay, fine. So now we are dig in into the, as I told you that we are now going to look at this particular place. What is inside this A and what is inside this particular structure. So we have two type of structures available, LSTN and GRU. Okay, so LSTN is structure is a little bit different, and the GRU structure is different. Okay, so I just try to tell you about something like that. So here we have multiple connections with them. You can see something is coming here, something is coming here, and they are going towards this and this and this and like that. So this particular box, this we can say this is A box, have a multiple calculation inside it. As we know that when we talk about ANN, in ANN we have only performed few operations, like the we had there the activation function bias and sigma x and w. This was there in neuron, but here we have more than that operations, and we can switch off any operation and we can switch on any operation. Okay, how it will look like that, and mathematically we will see later, but just see this thing. So we have different components here actually. So this is cell state. So this cell state is store something like that. This is forget state. If do not don't want to include something, then you can make it 0. You can pass it here 0, and something is coming here, say x, so that becomes 0 because you have a 0 here. So you can forget it, or we want to consider it from backside. That information coming from other LSTN cell. So you can keep 0. If you don't want to consider it and you want to consider it, you can make here 1 like that. Apart from that, if information is coming this side, so you can perform some kind of operation here. So actually this operation is called 10 operation. Okay, so we look at this operation, why we need to require such kind of operation multiple places, and why it helps us to make the system. Apart from that, things are coming here, things are coming here, and multiply and add up. So you can understand things. What is how operations performing over there. So information is coming from multiple places, and you can consider sometime, or you can store them for the next uh, you know operations like that. Okay, now we look at you can see this type of operations multiple times. So what is there, and how it's get giving you more, or why we required here in multiple places. So what happened actually, if there is no there is no 10 operation, so we can say no 10 operation, or let's say we say we have not this option operation. If it is not there, and let's say you have some values here. Okay, so when you pass this value, and if and this value is multiplied by 3 everywhere. So when if this is happening here, So when you multiply with this, so this value becomes larger. When you multiply this, it become 15.03 and like that. When you go further, 5 becomes 135. Okay, as I told you that we have two problems in RNN: vanishing and exploding. So this is an exploding case. Values are going to increase very high. Okay, so how we resolve such kind of issue? For that we are using 10 operation. Okay, so this 10 operation is always keep things in this way: plus 1 2 minus 1. Okay, so whatever you pass from this place, okay, so it's again going to decrease. So it will be always keeps values in between -1 to +1. So it helps us to values is not going to so increase so far, so high, or not going to decrease so much. Okay, so now you can see value was that, and again we multiply by 3, multiply by 3, multiply by 3, and all that. So again values multiply by 3, it will go 15, 0.03, and 1.5. Okay, but again it's going to decrease because that function 10 function will reduce the particular value in the range of -1 to +1. Okay, so the value in a scope, they are not going to decrease so much and they are not going to increase so much. So that's why we have seen that we have multiple places have a 10 function. Okay, so we understand why we have 10 function multiple places. Now we'll look at in LSTM. So we have seen here different things, but now we combinedly we can now able to see it. So we have different kind of operations here in a single cell. So in LSTN we call it cell in place of neuron. Sometimes many people may use the neuron because neuron is nothing but a something like there is a computing. Doesn't matter what you compute, but it means computing happening there. Now you can in LSTN we have different type of structure and different type of function here. So you can see that this is the input, this is output coming from previous cell, also output coming from previous cell, and we have a sigma functions here, 1, 2, and 3 sigma functions here. So these sigma functions play the different role here. So this sigma function play the role to keep the value from 0 to 1. Okay, and this 10th function keep the value from -1 to +1. So you can see in LSTN we have 1, 2, 3 sigma functions. Okay. Apart from that, we have other things like this particular box is itself is a neural network layer. So one cell may have multiple neural network inside it, because one neuron actually performs some kind of summation and multiplication that may be happening multiple places. And we have that circle points multiple places, that is actually a point wise operation. You can see here, you can see here, you can see here, and here. Apart from that, we have type of such arrows. We call it vector transfer. So vector transfer means we just transferring the value from a next level or next for next operation. And somewhere we have such type of combinations, like here is coming and here is coming. Two arrows are moving in a single arrow. So this means a concatenation. And somewhere we may have one arrow is moving two directions, like here and here. Okay. So this means you're copying the value in here and here. Okay. Now we move further to understand more things about it. So this particular portion decide what to forget. As I earlier told you, if this is a multiplication operation, if the value of here is 0, so whatever is coming from this side, okay, which is not going to multiply with input, because here you are getting input and which is going to multiply with previous information. So they want to consider it, then we can make it 1 kind of, or we can make it 0 to forget it. This value decide how we need to go. Now this value decide what to insert. Okay, so because it is a multiplication, definitely it's make anyone 0, as we know that, because in multiplication we can make any value 0, but in addition we cannot change any value. I hope you understand. If let's say you have x and you want to make it 0, so I can multiply with 0. But let's say if I have x and now I need to make it 0, I cannot do that. Because if I have something like that, if I say 0 or 1 or 2, I'm not considering minus, but I'm only considering positive values. So definitely I will get x and something like that here. So that's the main case. So decide what to insert. So let's say if you want to insert in your input, you're coming in this side, so you can want to add something here, so you can add it. You can insert more information inside it. Apart from that, here combining with transform xt. So the xt actually, the xt is actually a current input. T stands for the current input xt. Okay, so you can combine such information from here and then you're passing out to the next layer. So this decide what you need to combine them. Now we'll look at mathematically how actually each functions look like, and where actually the weights, the role of the weight, as we know that whenever we talk about neural network, okay, so when we talk about neural network, we always talk about weights. Okay, so now where are the weights? Because we are not seeing weights, we only seen some kind of a structure, internal structures or flow diagram of LSTM. Now when we talk when we take mathematically, then you can able to understand the concept. So we have seen that first summation happening here and we're getting some output from here, so we are taking it, this is IT. Okay, so IT itself, as I told you, that itself is it's a neural network, and it's a kind of a small neuron there. So that is going to define like this: WI H t minus 1 is previous information. If it is a t time, then this is the previous information. H t and x is a current input plus bias. So now I hope you get two things, this W and this B, which we need to learn by the training, because what you get from there and which help us to recognize or to predict something, that is depend on what you get from here. Those things then come here and they will add up here. So what things you require so that your output which you want, that should become there. Okay, so I hope you understand. This sigma itself have a two unknown variable. Fine. Okay, now we talk about CT. So CT is a 10 function, but this is not only a 10 function. Inside that, this operation has performed there also. So again, we have one more WC weight, which is going to multiply with h t minus 1, which is coming in this way, and x also is coming in this way. So that they are going to take care and then multiply with wc and plus bias. So again, one more we are getting. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 parameters we are taking there. Okay. Apart from that, I hope you maybe seen this thing. We are having a comma here. Okay. So here we are using comma. So you can use any of them. Any of them. How we can decide which you need to take care of? So you can go with a maximum function, minimum function, average function. Okay. I hope Zora fine. So you need to pick any value. Whether you want to pick this value, whether you want to pick this value, because we have comma here, and which is going to multiply with w. So if you use maximum function, the maximum value whatever it is, you can take. Or if you go for minimum, you can take minimum value, or you can go with average also. That's why it's not written like this. It's written like this. So you can take anyone. Okay. So we have seen this sigma internally, and we have seen this internally tan function. What is happening here? What is happening here? What is happening here? We have seen. Now further. Now we are looking at this particular C. How C will come out? Okay, so we have seen how we can get this ft value, and how we have seen that how we can get it value. Okay, so ft is going to multiply with this ct minus 1. You can say this is a multiplication, or symbol is written here. Okay, after that whatever you get again, which is going to add here. So what you're getting here, you're getting it, which we have already seen how we compute it, and we have also seen how we can compute ct. It is going to again multiply here, and then you add up them. So likewise, after this operation, you will get your ct value. This is a kind of a pure mathematical model over there. Okay, so further, so we have seen, we have hide all these things. We have already seen how we already discussed these points. The next point, which is remain, is this particular sigma function, and we say how we can get OT out of it. So same thing will happen again, because as I told you, these all are kind of neurons. Okay, and these are fixed. So again, we have a W here, and then the HT values, HT minus 1 and X is coming out from there, and the bias value. And we need to go with tan function here simply. You'll get it, and then you get your HT. So HT is coming in this way. So you get OT, and then you will perform 10. So 10 is coming from here, but it's going here and it's here, it's coming here. So you just need to multiply both the values. So we already discussed that this tan function we use to keep the value in the range of -1 to +1. We already discussed this concept there. So I hope we have understand every point of LSTM. Okay. So by which we can consider previous value, we can consider previous value, or we can manipulate the value, or we can add up something from past information. Everything is possible here, and this all done by the system. We are not taking care of all these things, but yeah, as a the researcher, we should aware about what is going on there. Or sometimes you can even change this structure as well. So you can even play with such kind of a structure as well. So there is no issue as such. You can have your own structure. Okay. If you know about the structure, now you can change any structure. Let's say you can skip this, you can skip that part, or you can skip that part, or you can see the output, how output is doing or not, kind of that kind of experiment also you can do. So completely, if we look at complete portion which we understand one by one, so we have seen that first we have seen all these operations here, and then we talk about this CT, and we discuss about this OT and HT. So this is your HT, and this was your CT. Okay, so all this. I also putting in a one slide so that you can easily perceive everything. So output OT will calculate. Okay. So I hope we have already seen this diagram. I just revising all this in a new diagram. Different structures, and I written where we can use them. Now we look at examples of neural network, within neural network. Now we take example of stock price prediction. It's very easy to understand it first of all how actually neural network works for you, and how we can provide input to the neural RNN so that we can understand the concept properly. So just I need to first of all show you the data files which I have already prepared for. So I have a data from 2012 to. I hope my Excel is visible to you.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, fine. So I have already a stock price of Google, open, high, low, and close, and volume as well. But we will take only one component, open values, and we'll try to predict the stock price of Google. So I have a sequence of open and high price from 2012 onwards to it's around 2016. So we have around 1259 records with us. Okay. So this will be our this is going to be our training data. So we will train by this data, and we will predict some value or future value. So for that, I have again one more Excel sheet which have value from 17 year of 17. Okay, few values. So I have six values of stock price of Google from 12 to 16 in training, and then 17 onwards I have in another file which is test. Okay, now we look at the code, how we go about it. Okay, so it's reconnecting me. Fine. So first of all, we have to read our training files. Okay, which is not there. I need to just paste my training files here so that I get them. So these two files and paste here. Okay, so I'm pasting my values, and now I am only considering open values because I have open value. I have a maximum and minimum value, because low, high, low, as you know that stock is moving in a day. So on what price it was opened and what price was closed, and all information we have, but for the experiment purpose we can only take one value. So that's why we have taken by the help of this Panda libraries. So we use the Panda library so that we can read the CSV file, and we are going to print head, but it's long, so it's not able to print completely. Now next, what we have, our values are not, in a range.
Sir, I request you to please zoom the screen.
Okay, fine, madam. Okay, so here is the code by which we can read the CSV file, which is right now in my drive. After that, you can, because our values are in different range. They are in a 700, 780 range. Okay, 786, 700, something like that. The price is in dollars. So this looks like small, but it's a dollar value. So we have to use mean or max scalar by which we get a range of 0 to 1. So we are transforming all the values in 0 to 1, because in in artificial networks we always keep the values in 0 and 1, so they may be in a proper scale. Now next, this is a very important. Now we are going to make our data set. In our data set, what we have a value with us. Okay, so I have a value with us. Let's say I have a value this. So in that case, because I'm going to learn my system, and I also need to put a value. If I consider how many days value, so what I need to do, I need to take 60 days value as the input, and I will take 61st value as my target. So that's why I made a structure again. So I'm taking 60 values, 0 to 59 will be my training, and the last value will be my value through which I get that whether I'm getting or not. Let's say 60 days values you are taken, and then 61 value will help you to learn the system, whether by the help of 60 it's getting that 61 value or not. Likewise, so that's why you have to take such kind of routine. Or one more change you can also perform, whether you need to go with 60 values, or whether you need to go with 100 values, that is depend on that. So we have to take 60 chunks, or maybe more than that. That is also depend on our experiment. So here we have taken 60 time stems and one output, because when we learn someone, or when we learn any machine, we have to pass both the things, because it's a regression problem. Okay, so we have to give particular values, and after this value it should become the 61 value should become there. So that's why we break down our database in this way, in the 2 dimensions, because it looked like a 1 dimension, but now it's become a 2 dimension, because each 60 days values we are taking. So I need to just explain it little more so that it's clear to you what I am doing there. So suppose I have value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Suppose these are the stock values, and I'm considering only 5 or maybe 4 timestamp. So the 4 value will be my input, and this will be my prediction value. So according to that, I need to get 5. Again, last 4 value, or not up to that. Again, so my first sample will be like 1, 2, 3, and 4. The next 4 value help me to predict this. So you can say 5 here. Then again, 2, 3, 4, 5 help me to predict 6. And then again, I will take last, the 4, like 3, 4, 5, 6 helping me to predict 7. Are you getting my point? So in that way, we are creating a 2-dimensional training data. Okay, so I hope it is clear, because this is one segment, this is the next segment, this is the next segment. I hope it is now clear. So how I can, getting 2-dimensional from 1 dimension. So why I'm getting 4 and why I'm getting 60 there, it depend on my requirement, whether I need to go with 60 days or whether I need to go for 4 days. But that is also point of research. So for your data set, you can change and you can see the impact as well. Okay, so we prepare data set into dimension. So the last value so will be my y train. So just let me clear you about it. So this all value will be my training, and you can see this is a level. Okay, so on that value I need to find, on that value I need to find this. I hope you understand that in training we have a training and training level, like testing and test level. Okay, so we call them X train, Y train. Okay, so in this way we are getting uh, training data and its level as well. Okay, so I hope it is clear. So this is only to convert one dimension to 2 dimensions. So if you have any change, you can change 60, and according to that you can make and range, because we have a 1258 records. That's why we have taken 1258. If your records are more than that or smaller than that, so you can keep the value according to that. So again, we need to reshape it. Then now we are going to again we are taking Keras. So in Keras we need to import some sequential dense and LSTM layers, because LSTM we are going to use, and dropout layer. So we are creating a sequential model first, and now we are going to add LSTM cells. So here the units is 50. So I'm going to include first layer 50 LSTM cell. Then I am using a dropout. I hope you're aware about dropout. So dropout layer actually help us to some make to switch off some neurons. So sometimes it's helpful, sometimes not. But nowadays it's become a give some good values, because make some neurons off, they may give you some good outputs. So it's not always right, but yeah, it's today's used by many people. So 0.2 means 0.2% of your neurons will going to off. They are not going to contribute. And again, I am adding one more layer LSTM with 50. Then again, I am adding one more layer LSTM with again have a 50 node. So you can change them. You can also see the impact. And the last layer. So again, I am adding one more LSTM layer, and then last layer dense layer. So last layer is output layer, and it's a 1 unit means you are getting one output, because we are going to predict something. Then after that we have to fix our optimizer and the loss function. So mu square error is the loss function here, and the optimizer we are using Adam. Apart from Adam, also you can go for RMS prop and many more. There are around 6 to 7 optimizers. Also, you can change them to see the impact of that. And the sequence is same. So now we need to fix, or we need to run the model. So for that we are going to fit it. So fit is function available in Keras, and we need to pass X train and Y train and the epochs and the batch size. So when we run it, so it will take time. So it's already compiled. Now we have trained our model. Now our model has been learned according to our data. Now we just need to check whether the whatever is going to predict by our data, by our model is really predicting what should be in future. So as I told you that we have a data set, test data set. Okay, so these all have information about 17 years, and we have trained our system. We have trained our system from 2012 data to 2016 data. So we do not have any number of the 17 year. Okay. So so we have again imported the information. We import the information from the Excel sheet which I uploaded here, and again I need to only focus with open values. Then I need to pass that particular prediction and the previous values, and we need to compare it. So again, so now we have a value. So we have to change that value so that we can put this value and predict by the system. And as we know that we have already keep the value in the range, so we have to apply reverse transformation so that we can get actual stock values, because before that values in the range of 0 to 1, but now we need to get the values in the range or in actual range. So we have mapped this value, and this diagram shows us that how real values moved in 17 and what was our prediction. So you can see this is the real values of stock in green arrow, sorry, in a red line, and in blue line our prediction value. So you can estimate that value, our prediction, and the stock price is almost going similar way, but not here. So our prediction should be go down, but it's gonna be more down as compared to our prediction. So I hope you all aware about that stock prediction is not an easy game. It's a worldwide game. So, we cannot rely on such kind of systems. But yeah, such kind of system help us when something is moving proper, or things are more in favor of stock market. So at that time you can figure out this thing, because such kind of a pandemic situation or some kind of neighbor issue like China Pakistan issues, kind of things change this market scenario. So I hope it is clear to you. So this is very simple computation. This is going to show us such somewhere we need to transform. So this code also very simple, not so complex. And also you can see in LSTM there is nothing with us to change something like that, because in LSTM it automatically go to compute the thing. But if you want to change LSTM internally, then you have to code itself what should be internal structure of LSTM, or you can take it in a separately, and you can make some changes inside it, and then we can use in the model. Because in fact you are we are importing the LSTM structure from LSTM, and that we are not going to pass. So by after importing, we can code to change LSTM, and then we can pass it. So these options are available. So I hope it is clear to you. And stock market prediction is one of the best example of RNN, because as I told you earlier, the RNN actually used for time series data, where you have a stage of information and then you have past information, and then you need to predict something. One more example, which is going to be very complex right now because it's required many things into it. These RNN help used in image captioning, and image captioning is a very hot topic today because we have today many images around us, like Facebook, Instagram, and many and Twitter. They all are full of the images, videos, and all such kind of stuff. So it's very very difficult task to caption all the images, because if you have a caption of the image, so it's also good for a search engine to understand the image inside it, what is in the image. Okay, so if you caption, if you have properly caption of the images, then it's easy for Google or any such engine to take you back to you if you need any image. Okay, so in image captioning, the model is very complex as compared to a previous one in stock market we have seen. But here the complexity is, first of all, you have to understand what is inside image. Until unless we are not able to understand the image, we cannot predict any caption for that. So first of all, we have to make a model, or we can use a predefined model to understand the image, what is inside the image. Then we can use LSTM model, which transfer this information of this image into the caption. So one model works, you can say, so one model works for to understand the image. Okay, so by this model, it will give you some kind of information. Let's say field and giraffe. Okay, many things, like someone is standing. Okay, someone is standing there, or there may be a road. Okay, so many things if we got from image, then we can have a word model by help of LSTM that help us to figure out all these words into a particular language or in a particular way. Because caption means we need output in English. Okay, so it should be proper. Like there are some giraffes standing on the field, or maybe something else. Maybe maybe there are some giraffes standing on the road or roadside. So it may be kind of such thing. So we need to make a world model which take this the output from this image, and by the help of this words, or LSTM work to figure out the sentence. That is a concept. Okay, so it's a very complex model. I have a code built for you. You can go and study more about it. I'm just going to explain few things about this. So as I told you that this is a very complex model, and you have to understand lots of code here. So first of all, I just want to tell you something, because we need to have a first of all data set. of image captioning. And this data set have a, two different data set inside it. First, we have images. So it's actually Flickr 8K data set where you have lots of images. Okay, and first of all, we have to learn our system to predict words from these images. Like for here, maybe you can predict some words like there is a board, water, and sea, mountain, cloud. Such kind of words should be come out from this image. Then we can predict something like boat is moving or there is a boat inside sea. Okay, such kind of stuff should be there. Like from these images, we should come out some words like eyes, you know, one lady, one baby, and then one trolley, and then some forest. So that word should be come out from this image. So that's why to go with that, so we have images. We have around 8,091 images of different aspects. Okay. According to that, we have a one more data set. We call it Flickr text data set, which have annotated of each images. So, for example, okay, says I already opened it, so let me just close it. So you can see here, or now we can see example of any image. Example, let's say take example of an image. We are taking an example of this image, and now we are taking what captioned already we have for this image. So it's okay. So let me just go to find this image. It's not able to find this image. Let me just go with another one. Okay, so you can see this image is captioned already. A hiker treks up the snowy mountain. So we can also see that particular image, so we can figure out properly. So that was the image. Okay, so there's snow and mountain and person trekker and so we already made such kind of data set so that the system can able to figure out these words and that help us to find the caption. Okay, so this data set is available on GitHub. So I written this code how to extract this code from GitHub because otherwise it's a very long code. It's around maybe 1 GB around. Let me just go to see it. Okay, so you can see it's around 2 GB data set. So 2 GB is very long. So you can extract this data set from GitHub. It's uploaded by someone there. So I written the code how to extract this code from there, and when extract it, it will be in your workplace in Google Colab. Okay, now you just need to perform some kind of operations. I already made there. So first of all, we need to go with a model which is going to recognize the images, because first of all we need to recognize the images, and for that and there are many models available which is already built by many people like VG16. So VG16 is a CNN model which built in 2014, So we now having this model to extract the features from images, because our images are big size. It's around. You can take example of any image. You can see image size. So I think they are also not uniform as well. Some images are 500 to 300. Some images are different. So when we take them, we will resize them in 220, 224 to 2024. So why we are taking all images in 224? Because this model is already built for such images. If we change anything, then the model will not work, because it's already built for 224 by 224 images. So whatever image, doesn't matter. We have to resize the image in this dimension. And this model is also capable to label thousands of different levels. I hope you heard about it. So this already a pre-built model. So in KRS, there's no need to make this model. It's already there. So we can directly, get this structure of VG16. So I can just tell you about this. Okay. So you can see the model structure. So it's a very complex model. So it's taking 224 dimensions, and so many convolution layer and pooling layer. So again, pooling, convolution. So it's a very, very complex model, and it's trained to understand 100 different classes. Sorry, 10,000 different. Sorry, 1,000 different classes. So this model is capable to classify the images in 1,000 different classes, and you can see the parameters. So it's a very complex model. Okay, so this is our target. So this is a model which is required to process the images. Further, we need to prepare the text data, because as I told you that we have to both the models need to prepare. One model which is going to process the image, and one model which is going to process the text. Okay, so you can read that out. Simple functions available there. There's no issue as such. Okay, so next we need to read out the token file. They found that the token file have the caption for existing images. Okay, that we need to use to train the system. Now we need to develop deep learning model for both the for the image and to find the caption. And then the list of training images, because it's already there. We run them. We have around 600 images for training, and remaining for testing. And okay, so when we need to have a model, so we need to keep a vocabulary as well, because how many words, different words you have, that we also need to figure out, and that we need to put into our model. So we have around 7,579 different words in our captions. And you gone through any encoding scheme. So in text, you have to convert them, or you need to vectorize them. So if we have 7,579 different words, then we have to assign different code to them, because when we put anything into a system, that should not be, this should be in a number. It should be in a number, because our deep learning model only process numbers. Fine. So we will perform encoding. So there are many things into it because it required a lot of things into it. Because you need to process the image, you need to process, you need to build a model to text to caption, and then they also need to have some information from the image. Okay, so it's a very big or complex model for the caption. So you have to study more about it, and so code is available because it take a lot of time to understand each and every aspects of this model. Okay, so I will share both the codes with you, and this image captioning really required efforts to understand every part of it because it's required many sub tasks because we need to do embedding, and then we need to understand the image, and we have to extract the words, and that words is gonna be put into this model to make particular string. Okay, so also I refer where you get more information about this model and all. So it's help you to understand. So thank you very much. We have a few time left with us to take queries about RNN and any issue or any things which you may be confused with RNN. So please ask.
Sir, if somebody is working on the custom data set, like if I want to create my own data set and I want to do the image captioning, and then how I will start from scratch, like how to create this token file and text file for that purpose?
Ma'am, as I told you that it's a very complex model because a lot of things happening over there. So you can start, just replacing from start. As I told you that we have this data set. Thus, suppose we have this data set. I hope you are able to see it. We have this data set already. Okay. So you just need to replace all the images with your data set, and you have to prepare also text data set in this format. Okay. In that way, it's gonna be very easy. Are you getting my point? If I already have a
Yes,
code,
sir.
so it's a very nice way to go it. You just replace every files and every image, or you can prepare similar kind of folders and files with you, and then you can apply the particular folder, or you can upload that particular folder or text folder uh, in your code, and that will work for you. There's no issue as such.
Thank you, sir.
Because it's really required lots of efforts because lots of things happening over there. If we start, then full day will spend on that because minute things happening over there. Because images are coming, and then images are feeding into VG16, and VG16 is giving you an output that we need to consider, and that we need to take it into our LSTM model to generate the caption. So a lot of things happening over there. So if you want to go with your data set, just replace all these files, or make same kind of structure and then upload here. There's no issue as such.
Thank you, sir. There is a question in chat box, sir.
Okay, let me just see. Okay, about overfitting and underfitting. Okay, so in case of LSTM, it's a little bit different, strategy as compared to the CNN and the artificial neural network model. So the overfitting and underfitting is already taken care by the optimizers. So you can tune your optimizers to overfit and underfit the things. because the overfitting and underfitting is same for every neural networks. No issue as such. Well, I hope I am clear. So you can play with optimizer.
Okay. I request all participants if they have any query, they may ask to sir.
But my submission is, remember this thing, RSTN is only to have a sequential data or timeline data. And if you have images and things like that, CNN is better. I hope you can also find many blogs that compared CNN and RNN for image classification. For image classification, CNN is better. But in image captioning and other things, where sequential information is available, like videos, captioning, and video transformation from one image to other, there where we can use it.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir. So, is there any query from any participants?
Okay, so in last, if you have any query, so you can mail us. So you can send some mail to Pooja or Madam, and also you can send me directly to me. There's no issue as such. If you have any discussion, because things may come later when you go into the code and research. So there's no issue as such. You can come up later also.